Hello, DiVino headquarters. This is Annie. I can tell you something about Sauvignon Blanc. If I had $1 for every time someone asked me a wine question, well, I wouldn't exactly be a millionaire. This is New York City after all. Stick around to learn more about Sauvignon Blanc and taste one with me. Hello, this is Annie.
Hey Annie, it's Alec. I'm at the wine store.
Hey, so how can I help?
I'm thinking of getting a Sauvignon Blanc. This is such a nice day out.
Cool, I can help you with that.
I don't know anything about Sauvignon Blanc other than I like it. Where does it come from?
Well, the short answer is France. While the actual origins of Sauvignon Blanc are unknown, as far back as we can go, Sauvignon Blanc was found in the area known as the Loire Valley and Bordeaux. Fun fact, Sauvignon Blanc is actually a parent of Cabernet Sauvignon. The father is Cabernet Franc. The name Sauvignon comes from the French word sauvage, or wild. That is because this grapevine was growing rampantly everywhere. It was clearly a very healthy and easy to cultivate crop, and so they started growing it centuries and centuries ago. Sauvignon Blanc, especially those growing in the area around the town of Sancerre in the Loire Valley, became super popular in Paris in the bistros during the 1970s. Just like fashion, what starts in Paris takes the world by storm. And before long, the super versatile and bright white wine was growing all around the world. In addition to France and parts of Italy and Spain, Sauvignon Blanc is now cultivated the world over in North and South America, in Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa, and has become one of the world's most popular grapes. That said, Sauvignon Blanc takes on completely different characteristics based on where it's grown, so there's a lot of variety.
There's so many options. Which one should I get? Is there a difference?
Yes, there is a difference. Sauvignon Blanc, like so many other grapes, takes on characteristics of the climate where it is grown, the growing techniques, and the techniques in the winery. So there is a huge variety of Sauvignon Blanc in the market. But one thing is consistent: bright, zingy acidity and a green quality. It could be herbaceous, it could smell like bell peppers or jalapenos or asparagus. It's what we call a vegetal aroma. And here's the science on that. These vegetal aromas of bell pepper, asparagus, jalapeno, they come from something called pyrazines, which are aromatic compounds. These, along with esters and terpenes, are found in the skins of the grapes. Winemakers and scientists have discovered that these aromatic compounds, pyrazines, have just as much to do with pruning in the vineyards as they do with the climate. The greater exposure to sun, the riper the grapes are, and the warmer it is, the less green these wines come out. Does that make sense? In addition, grapes that are grown and harvested when they are more ripe also seem to have a little bit less of this vegetal quality and more ripe tropical fruit.
There's also something called Sancerre. It's in the Sauvignon section, but it doesn't say so on the label.
Yes, Sancerre is still Sauvignon Blanc. Like Chianti, Champagne, and Bordeaux, it's also an appellation, named for the city of Sancerre and the area where a particular quality of Sauvignon Blanc wines originate.
So I ended up getting a South African Sauvignon. It's from Walker Bay. The wine guy said it was herby.
Oh, cool, Walker Bay. Oh yeah, that is a very cool climate wine region, which means more green flavors. You got it? Come on over, let's taste. While we wait for the wine, let's talk a little bit more about Walker Bay in South Africa. So the area of Walker Bay is located on the south coast of the Western Cape. It's one of the coolest wine-growing regions in South Africa and one of the coolest microclimates. In this case, the vineyards are located in an area called the Upper Hemel-en Valley. This part of the Western Cape is also known for an indigenous flower kingdom called fibos. It's actually a flowering shrub. They come in all shapes and sizes, and supposedly these shrubs also bestow an extra herby quality on the wine. And as we said before, cooler climates mean grassier, greener, more vegetal styles of Sauvignon Blanc. Hey!
So I got this really cool Sauvignon Blanc from South Africa.
Bosman Winery. Let's talk about these guys for a second. They are now in their 8th generation. They are serious wine growers and wine producers. But that's not all. They're also serious about protecting the environment and the community. They practice sustainable farming, and they also look after their staff, some of whom have lived and worked on the property for centuries. That means you can feel good about drinking a glass or two of Bosman, unless you drink a glass too many, in which case it's your own fault. So let's taste this Bosman family winery Sauvignon Blanc from Walker Bay. Look, so this is a 2017. As you may be able to see or not be able to see, take my word for it. This is a very, very, very pale golden yellow, and it's still got some green tints around the edges. And that means we should expect some brightness and youth and zingy acidity. Smell. So as we were saying, this area in Walker Bay is one of the coolest microclimates in South Africa. So you get a lot of that green and vegetal aroma. In this case, we've got some sweet cut grass, but also like the inside of a bell pepper. You know when you cut into it and there's that white pulpy part? Sometimes there's a baby pepper growing inside. That's called an endophyte. I'll never forget that vocabulary word. But that's what's all inside this wine. It's super grassy, super green, peppery, and fresh. There's not a lot of floral quality to it. Maybe a little bit of honeydew, a little bit of green fruit, if that makes sense. But it's definitely on the greener side, the more herbaceous side of Sauvignon Blanc. It also has a very delicate sea salty element, which is totally normal considering the coastal breezes are coming in on the regular. Taste. This wine is super tart and bright. It's 2017, which is 2 years old, but it is going strong. It is bright, it is young, it is fresh, and it would be fresh for several more years to come. The finish is medium long. In fact, I can still taste a little bit of that grass, a little bit of lemon lime, and the acidity is sort of dancing on the back of my palate. It's very pleasant. It's very summery, very refreshing. Discuss. So what do we say about this wine? Is it ready to drink? Yes, for sure. Even though it's still quite bright and fresh, it has a couple years ahead of it, but would you really be able to resist? I don't think that I could. I've only had it in my refrigerator for a few hours. What would you eat with a wine like this? Well, it's a very special, very herbaceous Sauvignon, and I would want the flavors to shine. So I wouldn't pair this wine with anything too strong or anything too acidic. So if you're having a salad, stay light on the dressing. Maybe a simple grilled salmon, something a little fatty because the brightness and the acidity would balance that out beautifully. I would be careful with cheese because it's so acidic. Maybe a very, very smooth, creamy goat cheese, but anything other than that I think could be a little bit rough. Either way, it's a beautiful wine and a wonderful experience. Do you have a question for me? Anything, information about wines, wineries, what about food and wine pairing, or maybe you just want to know how to organize a wine tasting in your house. Maybe you want to hire me to do a wine tasting in your house. Whatever it is, put it in the comments and you might just inspire my next video. If you like what you see, don't forget to subscribe. The link is right down there. If you watch the videos, I'll keep making them. Also, if you want to learn more about Sauvignon Blanc, about the history of it, about Sancerre, and about Walker Bay and South Africa and Bosman Winery, check out the DiVino Blog. The link is right down there in the description and learn more. That's it for today, guys. Take care. Cheers.